everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. My name's Alice and today we're going to be doing the name game book tag. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's Alice and if you are new here, I usually talk about all of the books that I'm trying to read from my absolutely giant TBR of over 200 books, which I'm steadily working my way through and telling you about. So today I have got another tag video for you. I've also must say I've been very naughty because I've got a bit behind on my tags, and this actually was the most recent tag I was tagged in, but it was also a quite easy and fun one, so I have opted for it. And it's the name game book tag, and I was tagged by the lovely Emily at Novell Novels. I've linked her video in the description box down below. I'm not actually sure who is the originator of this tag. I would highly recommend you go and check out Jack at Spread Book Joy doing this. She did a really good version of this tag, doing her full 10 letters of the name Jacqueline. I'll link that down below as well, but I do not know if the original video still exists. So this tag doesn't have any prompts. All you have to do is recommend a book for every letter of your name. Now, I imposed myself loads of different rules for this, and then I couldn't really fulfill any of the rules. Firstly, I didn't want to use the same books that I had used to do this tag over on Instagram a few months ago. Well, I failed with that one because I've picked some of the same books again. I didn't want to recommend any Agatha Christie's because I spent all last week talking about Agatha Christie, and I failed with that one as well. But to make up for those failings, I thought that I would try to give you 2 for each letter of my name apart from E, which I struggled with. I also wanted to make sure that they were all books that I have already read and that they were all books that I physically had on my bookshelf, and I did keep to those ones. So first of all, we have the letter A. Luckily my name is only 5 letters, so for A, to balance out the fact that I'm going to recommend an Agatha Christie as usual, I do have another book as well, and the obvious book to pick if your name is Alice is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And this copy is actually Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, both in one volume. It's a very nice Oxford Children's Classics edition. Main reason I didn't want to fully go with Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is because I like the book because it has my name in it, but I dislike Alice because she's very silly in some of the things that she does. I like the world, I enjoy the general nonsense of it, but I just can't really forgive Alice for keeping going around drinking and eating things that she just finds that say drink me and eat me. I don't think that's a very sensible thing to do in the world, but hey, it's a book full of lots of different types of crazy things, so I suppose I should just let that one go. I do know that Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is a book a lot of people like. There are certainly elements of it that I love, such as the White Rabbit, the Mad Hatter's Tea Party is excellent, the Cheshire Cat. Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting, fantastical stuff happening in this one. So I guess I kind of do recommend it, even though Alice is a bit silly. So that's my first book for A, and my second book for A, of course, is an Agatha Christie, and I think you can guess which one it will be. And Then There Were None. So this is, as you will know from my videos last week, my second favourite Agatha Christie book of all time, sometimes probably even coming very close to being my first favourite. This is widely acknowledged as Agatha Christie's best work, and I would wholeheartedly agree with that. It is an absolutely amazing mystery with 10 people stranded on an island that they have gone out to and got stuck there with a storm. Excellent setting, and soon of course all 10 of them begin to be bumped off. So this is just Agatha Christie at her absolute finest, and I just had to choose it for a prompt requiring a book beginning with A. Secondly, the second letter of my name is L. And I did pick 2 books for this as well, because one is a non-fiction book and one is in a series that I have never recommended yet and I really do want to recommend. So that one first, and that is Lasting Damage by Sophie Hannah. I don't know why I haven't talked about this series yet, because Sophie Hannah has written such an excellent series. I haven't really enjoyed her later standalones, but These books are just absolutely so good. These are set in the Culver Valley. I believe the series is known as the Culver Valley series, or the Culver Valley Mysteries. These are kind of somewhere between crime, psychological thriller, I would say. I didn't actually read them in order, but you probably could benefit from reading them in order because they're two characters, Charlie Zayler, who is a female cop, and Simon Waterhouse, a male cop. Their relationship changes over the course of the books, so I would recommend probably reading them in order, but the first one in the series, which is actually called Little Face, so I could have recommended it, is not one of my favourites. I actually don't love that book as much, so I've picked Lasting Damage, which I think is about the 5th or 6th book in the series, but I don't think you have to read them in order. The investigators in this are absolutely fantastic. I love the characters of Charlie and Simon, and I'm really hoping that Sophie Hannah is going back to this series soon, because she has said her next book will feature Charlie and Simon, and I'm really looking forward to that. This particular one involves a woman who is, like a lot of us do, is browsing on Rightmove at night, or a property website it says here, in search of a particular house. And when she clicks on the virtual tour button, she finds herself looking at a dead body in the living room. But when she wakes up her husband and tells him to come and look at the virtual tour, there's no dead body. The beige carpet is still pristine in the video, and it looks like a perfectly ordinary room. Intriguing. I highly recommend this series, and this book is one of the best in it for sure. I do like Sophie Hannah's mysteries. I also really enjoyed a long time ago Let's Explore Diabetes with Owls, which is a very funny collection of articles by David Sedaris. I love this cover. It's one of my favourite covers that I own, and it's also hilarious. So I do recommend these for very funny articles. I haven't actually read any of his other books, but I did find this one very funny. The third letter of my name is I, and I've chosen for that I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. I Am Legend is a sci-fi horror type book about the end of the world. It's about a man who believes himself to be the last man alive. Everybody else has succumbed and become vampires. And it's very different to the film of the same name starring Will Smith. It's very, very dark and very, very bleak, but I would highly recommend it if you enjoy your books dark and bleak and you like post-apocalyptic fiction. The second book I would like to recommend for I is a children's book, but it is a bit scary for children. So this is a book I really enjoyed a long time ago. It was actually read to me as a child. I think I did read it on my own as well at the time. But this is called Inside the Worm by Robert Swindells, and it's the sequel to a book called Room 13, which is great because it's all about the legend of Dracula and a school trip to Yorkshire, and I think probably to Whitby, and the school children in it are also in this one, Inside the Worm. And as if they didn't have enough terror in their lives from the book Room 13, in this one there is a local legend about a monstrous worm that once terrorised the village. And Fliss and her friends are reenacting that event in the village's past for the village festival. And this is all about what happens in that time and the scariness of the worm potentially returning. So I do highly recommend this, even to adults. Probably read Room 13 first, but it doesn't really matter. The fourth letter of my name is C, and I've got two books for this one as well. One is a lovely non-fiction book, and one is a not so lovely fiction. We'll start with the not so lovely. So I've chosen C for Carrie by Stephen King. This is famously Stephen King's first novel, and it is very horrible as horrors go, but I did really enjoy reading this. It's about a telekinetic girl called Carrie White and what happens to her at high school. Most people will know this story from the films, but having read this recently and then watched both of the films again, I can categorically state that the book is better. I love the fact that this book has sort of interviews and bits of news articles in it as well, telling the story. If you are not into horror, then you probably won't love Carrie. If you like horror, I think Carrie is a good book to read by the legendary Stephen King. On to happier subjects. My non-fiction book is about cats, and it's called Close Encounters of the Third Kind by Tom Cox. I've spoken about Tom Cox a lot on this channel, and these are my absolute favourites of his books. They're very irreverent and silly and involve a lot of swearing because one of his cats swears a lot, but they are so brilliantly written, so funny. Really, really recommend this book if you like funny books about cats. Right, the final letter of my name is E, and I only have one book for this prompt. So I've gone with a Lee Child book, Echo Burning, and this is one of the Jack Reacher books. I think it's about the 6th in the series, so this could be a good starting point if you wanted to start Jack Reacher. If you don't know who Jack Reacher is, please do go and check out my video. I'll link it here about a reader's guide to Jack Reacher, because you can learn everything there is to know about him without any spoilers. Then you could start reading his books. So Echo Burning is a book where Jack Reacher is hitchhiking across America, as he frequently does, and he gets a lift with a lady called Carmen. She has a husband who is in jail and a very hostile family who Jack Reacher tries to help her with. That's Echo Burning, and that's my recommendation for the letter E. So that was the name game book tag. I'm not sure who of you have done the name game book tag. I think I'll tag a few people anyway. It's a really fun video to make. Thank you, Emily, for tagging me. And I'm going to tag Becky at Teacup the Storyteller, because I don't think she's got too many letters in her name to have to deal with. So I think she might enjoy this tag. And I'll link her channel in the description box down below. I'm also going to tag Alicia at Alicia Reads and Rambles. Alicia's channel is quite new to me, but I've been really enjoying watching it, so do go and check that one out in the description box down below. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the name game book tag, and of course if you haven't done this tag and I haven't tagged you, please consider yourself tagged, and I would love to hear your recommendations for books beginning with the letters of your name. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you'll give this a like if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing and sticking around if you haven't already. Do comment down below if you've read any of the books that I've suggested, or if you would like to, or let me know which books you would pick for the letters of your name. I hope to see you all again soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.